Sorry about that. We couldn't get my audio working for some reason. I had to go back in and out of StreamYard. I'm with Rod at Picking and Punching. He is muted right now. You're muted, dude. How are you, man? Can you hear me?
I'm doing good, man. And I am excited. Are you excited for this?
This is pretty exciting. I've never had anything like this ever happen in my life. I've never found any card like this at this level. I've told the story before 100 times, like the flea market soccer card flip for like under $1,000 was my biggest one ever. So it's going to go into extended bidding, I'm pretty sure, because it's had bids today and there's people who have bid. I don't know how long that'll last.
Well, so let me kind of explain this. So those who never did golden auctions before, well, how it works is this is actually the pre-bid. So when you have an elite auction, they do a pre-bid. I think this will go for like 2 or 3 weeks. You pre-bid. The only way you can bid into the extended bidding hours, you have to place your bid before 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to be qualified to participate in the extended bidding. Now, the extended bidding, I think, goes for 30 minutes in the elite auctions, and then the regular auction goes about 15 minutes. So within the next 30 minutes, Carrie, we should find out what this card goes for. And I think people in the chat should start writing down right now what they think this card's going to go for.
I think each time it gets a bid and extended, it extends another 30 minutes though. That's what it was doing on like the Kobe Bryant one last month.
Okay.
Which went for crazy money. It stayed for hours.
Hey, we'll stay here for hours. This thing goes for crazy money. I'm
in this for long haul. Dude, you're on union wages right now. We're paying you
union wages.
I'm paying you with Smarties and Werther's Originals. So
I mean, but think about this. This is
it's at 25, Don just said. What?
25? Hit refresh.
Let me hit refresh.
There we go. 25.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
47 seconds. Look at this.
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow. Man. That's insane. I've never even seen that much money in real life. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not kidding. You're actually being true.
Like at one, like it's usually spent over time, not like all at once. That's wild. Yeah. So Don, or if any of you are watching it and see it change, I'll update it on the screen. It's just I'm not on the screen as we go. So
I got to pull this up and I got to send to my buddies because they all want to watch this as well. This is awesome, man. This is a win.
Dude, this is wild.
For the little man. I mean, you think about this. This is American Dream. It's like you literally pulled a winning lotto ticket by pulling that card at the National.
Dude, it was the funniest part about the story, which I've told several times, is it was day 5 because I was there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It was Sunday at 2 p.m. It finally slowed down. I wasn't worried about putting out a video that night. And I was like, I always wanted to open up a national pack. I was gonna do a Topps one, and then basically the cheapest box for a free national pack was the $90 box. I was gonna buy one for $40, but Dawn wants me to make sure I say this. She told me to buy a box and get one from them, so that's what I did. I did what Dawn said, and then if you watch the video, the girl flipped it around and gave me the bottom one. It was just insane. One pack, I mean, and then it graded a 10. This doesn't even make. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
Why don't you tell the audience the backstory? So you're currently living in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And, this is what we call the perfect storm because you were planning, as you went to Nashville, you told me, you're like, I'm going to move to Florida. I'm going to be closer to you, be closer to ADH Dave, who's your other, the podcast guy that you do other stuff with in the resale community. And this was your plan. And you told me before you went to Nashville that you needed $10,000 to pretty much cover expenses. That was your goal over the next couple months.
Yeah, outside of normal bills. Yeah. Like, I mean, we're fine on bills, but getting an extra $10,000 on top of paying all your bills is stressful at the very least.
But when you move across country, you think about it, there's expenses. You're going to pay for, storage, your first and last month's rent, all these gas.
It's at $27,000, bro.
27,000. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, dude. What the heck is going on?
This is insane. So I will tell you, when I originally saw this, I thought this card was going to go between 12 and 15,000.
Yeah, I was thinking 15 high.
Well, that was my high. Jeff Wilson's card because he got the card at the National. He bought it for like $3 or $4 grand. He flipped it on eBay. It sold raw for like 7,500, something in that ballpark. So I thought for sure this card was going to bring 12 to 15 at PSA 10. Now,
do you know what helped a little bit? I think was that other one from the VIP pack that sold raw ungraded for 24,000.
Oh, absolutely.
It didn't look as good as this one. It's a weird one because here was a discussion we were having. WNBA jersey versus Iowa jersey. In general, like 99.9% of the time it's pro jersey, but And I think in the future, near future, WNBA will be the same way. But at this moment, like Caitlin Clark is taking the WNBA to like another level. Her and Angel Reese and Cameron Brink and Juju Watkins will be in the league in the
Oh,
next year or
absolutely.
two. So, but at the moment, she's such a legend in Iowa. And, you know, I'm from Utah, so I'm used to not having a lot of sports teams. You know, Iowa has the University of Iowa and the Cubs, I guess, that they follow because of the
I mean,
AAA team.
what a crazy year for basketball in the sports car world, because Victor Wembanyama in the men's league, and now you have Caitlin Clark in the women's. I mean, it's put basketball back on the map. Not that it was off the map, but put it back to the forefront, just like the glory days of early '90s with it, Magic, Bird, Jordan. You have this new range of up and coming talent, and dude, I can't believe this thing's at 20. Oh,
Dude,
it
it's
was at
at 30K. Oh my God. Okay, I'm
$30,000.
about at the point where I'm going to cry. So,
It's okay, man. It would be great for ratings. You can cry all you want.
yeah, the cry on the screen is great for it. Oh my,
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know. Oh my gosh.
Do you
Wow.
know how many dollar cards you can get the bargain bins for $30,000? I can't even say
Dude,
it straight face.
$30,001 bargain bin fines right here. No, I mean like our trip to I mean us moving to Florida and then some. I mean gosh, this I mean obviously takes away a lot of the stress and allows us to get a really cool fresh. I mean, we're already I mean honestly, you guys follow us. We're already doing well with the content and reselling. We're okay, but like this, you know, we're also not rich. So this makes life a lot better. And this is cool. I mean, this is insane. It's like
Now,
it's not even real. I don't even understand it.
so moving forward now with cards, I mean, does this change your outlook? Does this change how you do things? I mean, where do you go from here? Because I mean,
You
honestly,
guys, you have this is a good question. Sorry, I don't you know I interrupt on my
yeah,
other
yeah, you can interrupt
podcast.
all you want,
So
man.
um
Listen,
you
we're
guys got to
sharing
hold me
here.
accountable. I am not allowed next year to go crazy on VIP packs at the National. I could buy like 5 max and that's like $40 a piece. I'm not going to play this game. It's I'm not going to play the chasing the high again. It's just it was such a cool moment. But I think it's one thing, and if you followed me on my like on Whatnot today, I was talking about it. We took everything off eBay, all the cards, and I'm recalibrating how we do eBay in the future. It's going to be no more dollar. I mean, I'm going to do lower end cards, but they're going to be in bundles or they're going to be curated and they're going to go through Whatnot or something like that. I'm still going to do them. I don't want to have a 9,000 card store anymore on eBay. I want it to be a little easier for me and Don, and just when we sell something online, it hopefully be $5 or more at least, and not like $1.50 free shipping. So that's the goal.
I mean, how much work? I mean, for people out there that are looking at getting a dollar and bargain bin cards, I mean, how much work were you putting in actually for, listing all these cards, selling them? Because I mean, there's days
That
you would tell
is,
me you would sell 30, 40 cards, and there's some days you sell 10, 15 cards.
yeah, the market. No, it's actually not a terrible thing to do if you're really into it. The main problem is you would go and I have my Card Dealer Pro and my scanner, which is awesome. You'd put hundreds of cards in and then not necessarily have that bump you usually have the next day. So it's a little easy to get discouraged with it. And then you get those awesome days because you built up such a monster catalog. So you're putting in typically stuff that's lower end and also not super highly desirable. Like somebody will want it in 6 months. So you don't get that. You kind of need that with eBay. You need to see at least 2 or 3 cards, and sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. Like if I will go on eBay and I'm putting up stuff I found at a garage sale, like a skateboard and a jersey, I'm getting sales within the next couple days on a couple things. And you're saying, okay, I was doing it right. So I think that's part of it too. It's psychological. But if you are dedicated and you are consistent and and you know me, I'm more like a go with the flow kind of guy. I'm not like a super regimented person. So if you're super regimented and go, I'm going to do 200, 300, 400 listings a day and you're consistent. Yes, it's at 33. Oh, it's at
We're at
33.
33, guys. We're at 33. Let me know in the chat down below.
Oh,
What do you
wow.
guys think this card's going to end at? Because honestly, when me and him were talking behind the scenes, we didn't
This
think
is
this
already
card
above
was,
like our high by far.
yeah, we thought this card was
30
first
was high end.
15, then it was 20. We said maybe 25. And right now, guys, let us know in the chat down below. Where do you guys think this is going to go? Someone says 50. Let's read this chat. We got a 45. We have a 50 to 77 to 42. We have a 45. We got a 45 to 50. I think that's reasonable, guys. 45 to 50 is potentially, it could go there.
This is insane. This is absolutely
39.
this is
Yeah,
absolutely
39.
insane. Yeah, I mean like
9. Wow, look at this, man. This is
59. Gosh,
Yeah, I
dude, it's
mean,
already kind of like life. I mean, like it's definitely year changing and making everything. It's just so weird how everything worked out too, because we were worried about that a little bit, the 10,000, which we're well above now. Um, and then Caitlin's going off too, which is only helping. Somebody mentioned that in the chat earlier. Caitlin is going
well,
crazy. Like she had 31, 31, 28. She's averaging like 29 and 12 assists a game in the last 3 games, which is only helping.
Well, I mean, we talked about this leading up to this. I mean, you literally had the perfect storm. She broke rookie records. She had the big matchup over the weekend with Angel Reese, which she came out on top. She played last night. She had 28 points and 12 rebounds. I mean, just going 30 points. She is now the Fever are now have a winning record and they're playoff bound. They went from the
Yeah.
worst team in the
Yeah, they were
WNBA.
1-8, and then
Yes,
they've been on a
came
hot
out.
streak since then.
So like she's on fire. So like you have the perfect storm at the perfect moment, the perfect time. Because if this was any other sport, baseball, football, there would have been so much more merchandise out. But because it
Yeah.
was the WNBA, which is
And
an
Prism
emerging,
hasn't come out yet, so
yeah,
the timing helped me. If Prism had come out and there was a one of one out of Prism or something, that
yeah.
would have. I mean, this, and plus, I mean, the eye appeal on this card, objectively, I think the eye appeal, it's objectively a color match. Dawn's tripping. She's yeah, it's at 33. Yeah, it's up. It's updated on my screen.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm behind because
Yeah, you might be behind a little.
Tell her
But
to
yeah, no,
turn her down her volume a little bit.
she left the room.
Okay,
she,
I was like we were picking up a little feedback from her there.
couldn't
But
happen. Yeah, dollar box guy hits the 33,000. I know that is that's a thumbnail if I ever saw one.
all right,
I'm gonna have to sit down and talk about this and do like a talking head video because
oh, absolutely. You probably
this is
you're
too
probably gonna end
cool.
up doing 3 or 4. Leading up to this. What?
Yeah,
How
people were
this is,
saying like I should do more, and I'm like I was excited and I wanted to talk about it, but I also didn't want to inundate people, with like me talking about nothing but this card for a month.
But I think you don't want to jinx yourself as well because you don't want to
Yeah,
hype it up and then get yourself disappointed because if this card would have went for 7 or 8 thousand when you thought it was a $10,000 to $15,000 card, you would have been slightly disappointed. You would have been happy with the money. So I think that you were really reserved coming to that. And then the past week or two when it started going off, like I don't think you didn't want to touch it because if it's not broken, don't fix it. You just want to stand back and let it go.
this is a good thought right here. One day it will be a 250K card, like I've said 1,000 times in my video, and this is my card, and I'm still sticking to it. Nobody knows the future value of any card. And if somebody gets it for 33 or more, I hope it's a $250,000 card in the future for them. If they hold on to it and want to flip it in the future, good on them. That'd be awesome. I mean, I'm cashing out. That's what I do.
You know what?
Because there's
That
no
is a big thing.
guarantees. There's no
Yeah.
guarantees.
Because she could get hurt down the line. Something could happen. But what people don't realize is when you take that $33,000, you can reinvest that in so many other cards and flip those cards and flip those cards and flip those
Yeah.
cards. By the time that card would be worth 250, you may have made $500,000 off that.
And we've talked about that in reselling in general amongst us and our friends. Like you could have a item that's worth $100, right? And you want to get that top dollar, or you could sell it at a good deal for like $60. Say you paid $20, you get that $60 right away because you quick sold it. You're using that 60, and by the time you got that $100 because you waited, you might have flipped over that $60 3 or 4 times and made 300 or 250. So I'm about the fast nickel, churning and burning. This is an extreme. I mean, like I don't know. This I mean, this is just too cool of a situation.
All right. So I got
surreal.
a tough question I got to ask you here.
Yeah.
So you see, and we hear all this feedback from like all the bigger influencers in the sports cards. You deal with the bargain box stuff. You're not dealing with high end cards. And when these guys pull out high end cards, they get a lot of flack for it because they're doing rigged boxes, any of that. Did you have any of that once you posted up that you got this card? Did you have any type of feedback from the community? Did you have anyone say, "Hey, another influencer is getting a card"? Because this is something outside your niche.
I think I had maybe 2 out of 1,000, 2,000 comments. Honestly,
good.
and I want to say this publicly, like everybody was so kind. Everybody, I mean, we do TikToks, we do shorts, we're used to, and reselling content, we're used to people coming at us quite a bit with what our profession is. And I just had a lot of great vibes from people just like, you deserve it, one for the bargain boxer. And I think a lot of people resonated with it as I did. Obviously it's happening to me, but also, I mean, I'm not above appreciating this for what it is. I mean, like, it's so neat to me that I'd been opening so many boxes this last year in particular, building up my page with a lot of pack openings. And then I kind of got this insane pack opening that was an afterthought. It was the whole video was going to be me getting that optic box, opening the, the Panini pack as part of it, and maybe getting a number to 99 card if I was lucky, maybe like a $50, $100, $200 card, right? If I was lucky, and then opening the optic box. And that was my video. And I'm like, that's going to get a decent amount of views and I'll make money on that, right? And I did make money on the video, but not, obviously nearly this much. And I turned it into a couple videos. So
what made you open up that pack at the National? Because most of the stuff you bought at the National, you waited till you got back to the hotel, you waited back to get your setup there to do that. Was there a specific reason why you opened up that one at the National at that time? And why didn't you take
I was excited. I was excited. And I had Dawn with me. And she could film it. Like I didn't have to set it up at a table.
Okay. That makes sense.
Dawn was doing that a lot on this trip for me. She was doing like third person stuff with my phone, just simple stuff that allowed me to edit fast so I could get videos out fast. Definitely one thing I'll do with this money is I'm going to get a couple cameras that are a little bit more up. I mean, like I have a nice camera for my phone, but I'm going to get a little bit of gear so that I can make the vlogs a little bit, I want them to still be like they are, you know what I mean? Like still just me. But like I'm probably gonna upgrade the cameras a teeny bit because it'd be fun. Why not?
Yeah.
It's also a write-off, which I'm gonna need with this.
Yes, you're gonna need a lot of bargain boxes. You're gonna need like $30,000 cards for write-off for like the next year, right? So
I've got to start buying.
So if you guys see Carey at a card show, come up to him because he's gonna buy all your dollar cards because he needs as many write-offs as possible, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hire me for your film crew. Kevin, if you want to, I'm not above it. The one thing that's cool when I'm moving out to Florida is, me and you, Rod, we're going to go to a lot of stuff. Tim, when he can come down, or we go up near Tim over the Year Sports. But one thing I imagine is we'll help film for each other. That's the one thing I always thought would be cool. It's like I could film a little stuff third person, you could film a little, and then maybe we don't have to. We know how to edit for the most part, so we might not have to hire a camera guy.
So for people that don't know, me and Carey actually are full-time pickers full-time. This is what we do. That's our job. We go out, we make content on YouTube, but this is your card channel where you specifically do cards. I have a card channel called Picking and Punching Cards, which I'm just getting back into now. And this is exciting, man. This is a huge win because the resale community is 100% supporting you here. The sports card community is supporting you. This is like the little guy's finally getting his break, and we're watching it unfold in front of us. It's insane to see this happen. This is a once in a lifetime. You hit that, it's like you're Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory getting that golden ticket right now.
Yeah, somebody's asking, am I going to buy a $33,000 card? Sam, this is my card that I got in one pack of Panini National cards, one silver pack. I got this, walked it over. You could see my short and my YouTube video. I walked it over to Golden. They were like, whoa, it was pretty cool. And immediately they were good because they were like, we're just putting this in the auction. And I just followed. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. Because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And I need somebody to tell me what to do on this.
When you went to Golden, though, did they give you any type of like estimate what they thought the card would be valued at all? No,
they didn't. They said they would handle the grading, which I'll pay back. But obviously it's not much. I mean, it was express for an expensive card. So I don't know what it'll be, but 500 or plus. But overall, I mean, they handled everything and they've been super communicative and super cool to work with so far. So I've had nothing but good things to say about working with them.
So
on this
for
one
those
card, and who knows if I'll have many others in the future. Who knows? Maybe I'll start getting into $33,000 one of ones.
For those who don't know, so when Golden does their elite auction, it has to be a minimum of $7,500 to be in this auction. So when you brought that card up, they automatically assume this is going to be $8,000 card plus.
Yeah. Oh, old school. Jimmy was my cameraman at the National for a lot of it. Him and Don. Camera crew for AAC is a tough gig. 30-minute lines for the restroom breaks. That's true. We found the secret restroom, dude. We found the secret. I don't know how much of a secret it was, but there was, like, if you had the media passes, and I think by like the last days they were just letting everybody use it. I think, but I'm not 100% sure. There was that whole setup at Cleveland. It was an okay building. It was a little out there, but like it was like had maybe 4 stalls for the guys in the whole thing. It was pretty intense.
Well, let's talk about the National here. I mean, you went there. It was you're there for 5 days at the National. So people that have never been to the National, I mean, how exhausting is it being there for 5 days? Because there's events going on all day long. There's trade nights going on in the evenings. There's other car shows that are going on in the surrounding area.
Yeah.
I know that you hit up some of those car shows. You hit up the trade nights. I mean, walk people through what is it like going to a national event? Because a lot of people have gone to a local car show. Maybe they go for 2-3 hours and that's it. But going to a national event is to the next level. I mean, this is the biggest
I
card
think
show in the entire world.
there's going as somebody who's just going to buy or sell, and then there's going and making content on top of it, which is my first national was like also a content-a-palooza. Like I was dead set on making is day of next day content. So we were there all day, like from, it wasn't super early. I mean, 9, 10, 11ish, all the way till close. Then we'd go to trade nights. Like one day me and Tim just set up at trade nights. People were coming up to us. I think I used some of that footage in one of my videos. That was kind of fun. And then I would go home, hang out with the guys, like eat and hang out for a couple hours, and then like at 11 or midnight I would edit for an hour or two. The cool thing with like how I've learned, because before doing this, I've done Picking Across America, which is my other channel.
Yeah.
So I've learned to make day of, like next day content, and a lot of that has to do with making quick camera footage available. So I would film most of my videos with as much of my video as possible with the camera, where I'm talking and I don't have to do much voiceover. And then I would add some GoPro stuff. In a perfect world, it would be heavy GoPro and more heavily edited, but I just had to make that quickly edited so that I could get it up there. And it was good enough, as good as I could make it. But it was exhausting. It was exhausting, but I will tell you this. I left and and obviously the card helped, but I left and I was proud of myself. I was super excited. I left. I'm like, I really felt like that I did the best I could. And that's all I could ask for. Whether it was good enough compared to other people, who knows? But for me, I did the best I could do. That was the best I could do.
Can you do me a favor? Can you get a refresh on the screen? Because that's 17. I just pulled up my phone. It's actually on 17 minutes right now.
Okay, sorry.
So, but no, I would say, man, I watched a lot of your content at the National. I watched a lot of other, and there's a lot of people there that had we're down to 16 minutes, guys, on this. So hopefully we get a couple more bids so we can hang out with you guys the rest of the night. But, I watch a lot of content.
Thank you, Sherry, in Australia. And thank you, everybody who's given super chats. I haven't said anything.
There's a lot of people out there that made a professional content. And not saying your content's not professional, but they had a camera crew there. They had, they had a lot of other things. You go with a GoPro and literally a shoestring, budget and staff, there, because you had
literally a shoestring budget too for buying, and we were traveling. Absolutely. Like we were not working. There were people, influencers, that were spending more on one card than we had in our bank account, probably, to even do what we were doing. And we've always been like that. We don't do credit cards. We work with what we have, and we do the best. And sometimes we, drive till we're empty and hope the next day we'll be able to sell some stuff to put gas in the tank. That's just how we've been. It's not necessarily the smartest way to do it, but that's how we've been for most of our life together.
Everybody likes the trophy at the end of the thing, but they don't know the hard work and the journey went into this. How many days before the National did you leave? Because a lot of people don't realize you live in Las Vegas. You had to drive to Cleveland, Ohio, but to help cover your trip, you actually hit up card shops and went picking along the way. So you guys hit up thrift shops, private picks. You hit up a multiple card shops. You were doing literally Whatnots from your hotel room to help fund this trip.
I mean, I made a deal with Whatnot to help like cash and some money for the National to spend on cards. I made a deal with Whatnot to help fund it. Yes, I did. Yeah. And that's one thing I learned from Kevin, Commonwealth Flipper, who's in here. He told me last year, because I've done this 3 years in a row. He's like, make sure you have some sponsors. There's no reason not to get, a little bit here, a little bit there. And we were able to get Whatnot to sponsor the trip. And it made the first half super help. I mean, it really helped us a lot, honestly. We weren't as ready as we've been in years past, because, it's a lot of money to go cross country and be gone for 4 weeks and pay all your bills at home.
People don't understand. You're paying for hotels, food, all the stuff you're buying, and then you have to quick flip.
We're buying too. That's another thing. It's like we're spending a lot of money just on doing it, and then we're spending a lot of money. And historically, we weren't doing Whatnot, so we were just spending everywhere we were going and not bringing any money in. Thankfully, content money comes in, and that helps at this point. But we got sponsorship that helped a lot. But that was stressful, and we got there, and we were, had to definitely be more careful buying than I would have liked. And then we still made it, dude. It's so weird in life in general. And this doesn't always happen, of course, but it seems like when you push yourself out of your comfort zone, a lot of growth can happen. And honestly, that's what's happened the last 3 years doing this trip, and this trip especially. I mean, we got pretty lucky here, but it seems like luck happens when opportunity meets preparation, right? It's when you're actually out there.
life begins at the end of your comfort zone. You don't, long as you break your comfort zone, you don't experience life. And you wouldn't be able to, yes, you can get lucky, but you have to put yourself in positions to get lucky, to actually have those chances,
Yeah.
And if you didn't actually take the chance of, finding a way, any means necessary, buying cards, going to thrift shops to fund your trip up all the way up there, staying, you did one in Jimmy's
I
basement.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Tim. Shout
Yeah.
out to Tim
Tim
too.
over the
Tim was
years.
doing the same thing because our whole thought was like this: we want to make content. I think everything that I bought, I think I put almost everything except for a big bulk purchase through the auction. So there was some stuff I was losing on and some stuff I was winning on. But the whole thought, honestly, was like recoup money so we could go make a video the next day. In a perfect world, I'm coming back and I'm separating my cards. Some's going whatnot, some's going here, some's going there, and we're maximizing our profit and making content so we can make money off that as well. It's all part of the game plan, but it's also we can do what we love, which is pick for a living. I'm not supposed to be doing this. You were a wrestler, dude. You were a professional wrestler.
Wrestling. I did professional wrestling. I've always picked, throughout my whole life. And, first thing I ever sold growing up was sports cards. I used to go with my dad. My dad set up like flea markets. He set up a couple sports card shows as a kid. And that's how I fell in love with sports cards. I got out of it for a long time, like a lot of people. But the past year or two, I've got myself back into sports. And I will tell you, it is ridiculously, I'm getting force fed with the fire hose now because you got to learn all the different colors. You got to learn all the different parallels. There's, short prints, number cards. There's a lot that goes into it, but I love it. I love the challenge. I love learning. You mentioned about Tim from Over the Years. If you guys love Carey's content, go check out Over the Year Sports. He's in the chat right now. Click his name, give him a follow.
Yeah.
Great guy. If you like Carey's type of videos, you can check out my channel too, Picking Punching Cards. Give Tim a follow, guys. Over the Year Sports. Great
There's
guy.
a group of us, and I think it's growing. You, Keith, Vintage Sports Flips, Tim, Over the Years, of pickers, like guys who do garage sale content and thrift store content that are also into sports cards. I feel like it's a little sub niche within the card niche. We're gonna be doing. I mean, Rod, you've done a lot of like garage sale hauls, and those do great on YouTube, and they're also super interesting because people oftentimes are thinking about the only places to get cards are online card shows and card shops. But there's also garage sales. There's Facebook's online, but there's a lot of other, estate sales. There's a lot of cool ways you can get cards where you're not having to worry about necessarily paying 80-90%. You might be able to get a deal because, maybe they don't want to deal with the cards. They don't want to actually go through the process of selling them individually. We can usually make money because we're willing to, and we know we have the expertise to go put this stuff online and ship it and pack it and do all that stuff. So,
do you know what? One place you didn't say that a lot of people overlook is an antique mall, because a lot of people don't think about going to get sports cards at an antique mall. Yeah. And when they put sports cards at an antique mall, they usually price it and they forget it. So you may go there 1 month and there's nothing good, but you may go back 3-4 months later and that card is still priced the same thing it was 4 months ago, and you can find good deals there. So I've done some really good finds at antique malls. Let me
answer Jake real quick. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, you're good, man.
I'll be at Front Row Card Show this weekend. Yes, in Pasadena. So if you guys see me there, say hi. I'll be there. Sorry, man.
No, don't interrupt me. I mean, you can interrupt me all you want, man. This is your night. Don't worry about me, man.
Just because some people were asking if it's over. So right now, you explained it really well. It's an extended bidding. And I believe since it got bids and extended bidding, it might continue another 30 minutes. I don't know how that works.
So how it goes is when golden auctions, because what the golden auction doesn't want, they don't want people to wait till the last second to try to come and snipe it, like you would on eBay. Okay, try to snipe. Like when I put in an item on my watch list, I wait to the very last second to place my bid. Well, these bigger auction houses don't want you to do that. So what they do is they do what's called pre-bidding. They start a couple weeks in advance. You could pre-bid in the auction. Tonight, the deadline was tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You had to place a bid in before there to be allowed to bid in the extended auction. The extended auction goes for 30 minutes long. Every time there's a bid placed, it extends another 30 minutes. So it gives those people that have already placed bids before an opportunity in that last 30 minutes to actually place a bid. So, I mean, it's really good for the sellers because they allow you to try to really maximize your money. Especially, it gives the buyers time to do research. It gives the buyers to make a sound decision. So at first I didn't really like the process, but then more and more I talk about, more and more I think about it, I really do like the extended auction when you're dealing with these high-end cards.
It's another thing too. It's 9 minutes left, but it's probably going to go into further extended bidding. Because me and Don were watching. This was the crazy 1-of-1 Kobe Bryant and last month auction. and it went on for a couple hours afterwards, and it
Yeah.
went from 550,000 or something at close all the way up to 1.5 million within
Yeah.
extended bidding. Now mine's obviously not that, but there's a chance that it maybe extended another 30 minutes. I don't know. I don't know exactly the process, how that works. We got a super chat. Let me share that real
Yeah.
quick. Big
I
guy
love
of
this.
horror. Yeah, there we go. Horror movies. We love it. I think the community that you're helping develop, the trash to cashers and those that were guests, you all influence each other. Love you seem to build each other up and not knock down. Yeah, we try to. I mean, the truth is we're all just really good friends in real life. Even Kevin.
Yeah.
Monster.
I mean, and one thing I always say
Kevin's
is
one of the
too,
nicest guys in the world, and it's fun to tease him. It's fun to tease him.
yeah, Kevin is great, and he gave us some cards to open up, man. He got some Skybox
He
basketball. We got
did.
some V Friends. I mean, so it wasn't for Kevin. Like Kevin does a lot for the community behind the scenes, what a lot of people don't know. If you guys don't know what we're talking
Yep.
about, Common Picker, Common Flipper. You know, you can check him out. Garage Sale Nation, all over YouTube.
Yeah, if you
guys,
don't know who he is, your grandmother, great grandfather, they watch his stuff. He's really good with really, really old people.
Yeah.
That's his people.
But going back, what he was saying is, I think we all have the same mindset that we are stronger as a community than we are individually, because what it would take Kerry to learn by himself might take him a year. But if he talks to me, he talks to Kevin, he talks to Tim, he talks to Jimmy, we talk to all these other sellers. Now we can accelerate that knowledge within 3-4 months, and now we're going to be in a lot better position. So
feels great. It's surreal. It's surreal to have a card going for this much.
7 minutes, Kerry.
Yeah, the whole thing was like I didn't want to expect more, but like as it goes higher, you kept like thinking, could it go higher? Could it go higher? So it's like it's like honestly way exceeded my expectations. If I would have told Don 33,000, and some people were saying numbers like that at first, and Don was like, no way. She was surprised. She was, first off, Dawn was upset we only got 2 cards in the pack. If you watch the video, she's like, you only got 2 cards. And I'm like, don't worry about it. That's, if you go back and watch the video, the uncut thing, I'm like, don't worry, Dawn, we're fine. This card we're good. And then everybody's like, it's 5,000. I had a dude standing next to me when I was putting it in the top loader. Shout out Blowout Cards for giving me a free one touch, by the way. I went back and tried to pay them. They were cool. They said no, but they got a shout out. Hopefully that helps. But there's a guy next to me wanting to buy it. There was a little bit of, like people wanted that card. It was a cool card. And I wanted to see what it would go for myself, even if I don't think anybody would have offered me nearly this much, but like theoretically, if I got offered a lot, I think I would have said no and just seen what happens.
With that being said, did you get any actual offers? I mean, I know people were interested, people contacted you with the card, but did you actually get any physical offers?
No, I got the one guy saying, am I going to sell it? And I said no. And then I had at least one message, and I said it was already at Golden. So I never got into that. I mean, I'm sure I would have got a similar offer to like what Jeff Wilson offered, 4,000 or 5,000. Nobody, and it was ungraded at that time. Grade, for one of ones really doesn't make a huge difference. I would argue that a 10 helps, but nobody knows if you're going to get a 10. A 9 and 8 are probably net neutral, and maybe if you got like a 5 or 6 where there's like obvious damage on a card, that might hurt it. But in general, there's definitely a lot of debates on whether we should grade it or not. And like I was talking to Don earlier, it's more like for authenticity purposes. Like just to be like, this is a legit authentic card, because I guess it could be, somebody could, forge it, I guess. So PSA is also authenticating it as real.
So we are at 4 minutes and 50 seconds now. So if people don't know, this will not extend unless we get more bids, from my understanding. So
did it get bids before the time ended, or did it get bids?
No, it already extended, I thought.
I don't know.
Yeah. We're at 4 minutes. It ends in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So the only extending bidding, it only extends 30 more minutes if there's more bids placed. So
hey Nick, how are you doing? The Mohegan show, you were saying, I think I was talking to you, it was in Connecticut. I'm not going to be in that one yet. I may go to that one next year though, because I'm going to be on the East Coast and I will be traveling all over. I want to go to some Philly shows. I want to go to maybe I'm going to try to get to the Orlando Fanatics one, because I'll be, I think, there by then. I'd like to get to Florida before Halloween Nights is over, so I could go to that. I know you guys are all going to have fun at that this next upcoming month, and I'm looking forward to it.
So we get a question in the chat. What was the other card in the pack? I don't think everyone knows what the card was. What was the other card?
It was a base Joel Embiid, and I sold it at on Whatnot for like $3 or $4 or $5. I probably should have kept it. It's okay.
As a memory.
I'm not a super sentimental person when it comes to that kind of stuff, but the thing is, like, for sentimentality, I have the videos to look back on. Like I have video proof, and like I can look back and watch it. But
Well,
I don't
something
need the
tells me
card.
you may have 33,000 other reasons to look back at this. So I think you're going to
Yeah,
be okay.
yeah. I think I'm gonna be all right. I think
You're
we're
going to
gonna
be
be
okay with
all
this,
right.
man.
I think Dawn is pretty excited right now. She's having a good time. Uh, I think she's blown out of the water.
I,
See, I told her all I had to do was buy cards for the first 11 years of our relationship almost, and this would happen. I told her
it finally paid off.
it
You finally
finally.
broke even now, right? You broke
Well,
even.
like the people who know like me and Don's relationship, when we met, I was an auctioneer, live auctioneer. She was bringing stuff to my auction. We got together, and she was working as a plumber pipe fitter. She was a welder, an orbital welder, and she could basically quit jobs and go back and work. She had a great reputation. So one day I was at a thrift store, and I picked up two Mike Trout bobbleheads, Salt Lake Bees. Those are super rare, the original ones from 2012. I sold one for like $275. Sold another for 75 that was broke. And then I also got like a card of Jason Tatum out of a pack, and then she quit because she's like, I could just resell. I don't need to do this. And she went back later. But she's quit full time now. She hasn't done full time work for over 2 years now because
That's
we're doing
awesome.
this. So
So
she's able to get out of that.
you're known as the retail box guy. You go to Walmart's, you go to Targets, you buy a lot of boxes. Now that you will have some little extra spending money here, once this auction ends, does that change anything going forward? I mean, are you still going to be the bargain box guy,
Yeah.
or are you going to maybe dabble in some hobby boxes from time to time now? I mean, what is your plan going forward?
I'm gonna treat myself to something hobby wise, but that's a treat. That's not a smart play. And we
Yeah,
talked about this, maybe going halves on a case of Bowman U, which is
that's
reasonable.
yeah,
So something like that we may do. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna allow. I'm gonna stick with retail. Here's the thing: I will open anything if I feel like I can make more on the content or have the potential to make more on the content than what the box costs. Otherwise, I'm not probably gonna open it unless I have to be careful. I can't go too crazy with this. I have to be reasonable with this money. I'd rather I mean, I will probably allow myself to buy a couple bigger cards to try to flip. I'm not going to go crazy on like a PC or anything. I might let myself get a couple extra Skybox autographics or something, but um, I'm gonna continue to bargain box, and I want to delve more in the 5 to 100 range for flipping, just to make it easier on all of us, me and Don, for selling to build something. Maybe 5 to 200. But if I'm spending 200 on a card, it's because I hope I'm going to make more. So I'm not spending 200 and losing $200 and never seeing it again. So
makes sense.
so that's my goal. I mean, I'm going to still go through the bargain boxes. People want to see that aspect of the hobby, and it's still underserved, I think, in the community. And I'm going to continue to be the bargain box guy and the retail guy. And I'm gonna grow. I've changed over time. I'm going to grow and continue to change. I might start grading a little, but I don't think you'll see me doing $15,000 card deals anytime soon.
Oh, I hope not.
So I don't think
we're,
so.
Last 30 seconds here. I don't know about you guys, but I got goosebumps right now just thinking about this. I honestly, this feels like we're watching New Year's Eve right now, watching the countdown go right now, because we are literally down to the last 16 seconds, Gary. This will change your life. We are praying here that you get another bid in here. If not, dude, you are going to be golden. No pun intended here. But here we go.
Yeah, I don't know what happens, man. I don't know what happens exactly.
4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2, 1, and is it complete?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I think
bidding
it takes
is closed.
So we'll see. Bidding is closed. Sale will finalize in the next 30 seconds. Wow. So 33 was wild.
$33,000. I mean, come on, tell us, what does that feel like right now, man? Like, congrats, man, in the chat.
Dude,
like,
feels insane.
Gary, like.
Yeah. Yep. 33. Yeah.
Refresh it one more time.
I'm just making sure it doesn't go into more extended. I don't know how that works.
If someone put it in last second, there we go.
Bidding is closed. Yeah. So I think we're good. Well, knowing like 100%, it'll say sale final.
Yeah.
But that's wild. 33 was like, I think people were saying high end for the most part. There was a couple people who were saying higher, but 30 seemed to be like the high ceiling for most people, and it broke through that. So,
well, I think the way it was going in the last 24 hours, people would assume it was going to go higher. But I mean, you got to be tickled pink right now with this,
dude. This is, yeah. I mean, I can't even comprehend exactly. Like, I don't think till maybe it hits my bank account, I'll fully comprehend what's happening. But we basically, this makes life so much easier on so many levels. Like, we're going to be out there in Florida before we know it, and we're not going to have to worry about everything. part of like why we were liquidating a lot of stuff is we didn't want to spend $2,000 or $3,000 for, you know, like a moving truck, and we're still probably not going to do that. But you know, we could buy a van now, for example, for that we'll use out there. There's a lot. This gives us a lot of options that makes our life a little bit easier if we want it to be. But
So
my goal is to be as conscientious as possible with this money, and really
Smart.
use it and save it, and you know,
and
make
build your
sure,
future.
yeah, build for the future, but be as intentional as possible with this, because this is a gift, and it's going to get us to Florida, but it's going to get us to Florida and then some. So I've got to figure out how to use that then some correctly. You know, I'm not used to having this much all at once.
It's I mean, it's honestly, this is a life-changing event for anyone. The people that don't know, Carrie drove across America in a little car, filling up with stuff in the thrift store from he didn't have a van.
2006 Honda.
Yeah, he had a Honda that he drove across the country. If you guys watch American Pickers, they have this big van where they were able to fill that van. No, he had a little Honda that they were doing these trips and filming everything. So him getting a van will be a game changer, not only for him and Don, but for their picking business.
Yeah. And I mean, like throughout my history as a picker, I've had, we typically did vans every 2 years, and we just go buy one for 2,000 or 3,000. So I've had them. Ours just kind of broke down when we got out here. It just didn't work anymore. Or I forgot exactly what happened to it. I've had several vans. I had a truck at one time, but the one thing I know about Honda Civics is they're beasts. Like I've had 2 Honda Civics since I've been 21. I got one on lease when I was 21. And after my 3-year lease, I bought it. I paid payments. I ended up paying like double what it was worth, but it lasted me till 2018. So it lasted me like 13, 14 years. And then we basically took over her daughter's Honda. Same year, actually the year after. I had a 05. This is an 06. So I think I'll always have a Honda at some point. Maybe if things continue to go well, we'll upgrade to an Accord.
Can you refresh this one more time for us so we can see make sure it's finalized
let's
here?
Do it. Oh, it's at 40,000.
Well, that's with buyer premium. So for those that don't know,
I was like, what the heck?
No, yeah. So I had a quick stop.
So they paid 7,000. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
wild.
When you buy off like a major auction house, the auction house holds the card.
That's a good point.
They handle everything for everybody. The buyer has to pay 20% on top of this. So that buyer bought that card for $33,000. They're paying an additional 20% on top of that. That's why you're going to see this final price at $40,260. That's with buyer premium. So this is a $40,000 card.
And that's why they put it that way. So I'm sure they'll advertise it and let people know, you know,
Correct.
on their IGs and stuff.
Well, that's exactly
that's setting a market too for Caitlin Clark. If you guys, like if you were to get a 1-of-1 WNBA Prism, Caitlin Clark, and got it graded, which you can decide to do that, but I would definitely consider sending it to an auction house.
Wait a minute. Did you just set the market for Caitlin Clark? This might be the highest.
Biggest.
This may be the record for the highest selling Caitlin Clark card ever.
It might be.
Dude, you're right. I have not seen
before. What's been higher?
25. There's one I saw for 25. That was it. Wow. I haven't seen anything higher than this. Unless chat, let us know. Have you guys ever seen a card higher for Caitlin Clark than this? This one ended at over $40,000 with buyer premium. So I think Carrie, you may have just set the record, man. How does that feel?
Dude, wow. I was just thinking like Caitlin is a real person, and she probably doesn't realize how much she's affected me in Dawn's life. Like we're gonna be lifelong Caitlin Clark fans now. That's just
guys jump on
set
Twitter,
in stone.
Jump on her Instagram.
Yeah, share this, every guys, if you would.
Now.
Thank you, Monday. You don't need to tip us, but we appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, my friend.
Send Caitlin Clark this stream. She needs to see this because you know you never know how you touch other people. You know, especially when you pick and like. You know, people comment in your videos about what you do, your card videos. I know you're very grateful. Every time I've seen
Bowman
you out.
Super did 70K, which makes sense. That was her Bowman first. So
Bowman first did 70K? Okay.
So this would be probably second then, I would guess.
Second then. Yeah, second. All right.
The Super makes sense because that's the Bowman first. So her first card she ever got produced. This would be like one of her last cards in her college uniform produced.
Wait,
Not that really makes a difference,
but that was an autograph, wasn't it?
That might have been an autograph. Yeah.
So this may be could this be the highest non-autograph card?
That's possible.
Yeah.
How about this? It's the highest card I've ever sold.
There we go.
That's a record.
We set a record.
This beat my old record by like a singular card, 400 or 500. So it's like, what is that? 10 times that. So now I have a story when people ask, what's the most expensive card you ever sold?
You went from
I have one that they'll actually be impressed with now.
Yeah, I sold a car for 500, and then my other one was 40,000. What a difference!
Nothing in between. Zero in between.
Yeah, your 100 times.
100x. Sorry,
That's, yeah,
Richard.
your
My
100x.
math, you could tell
Yeah.
math was not my strong suit.
Oh man, that's
It
insane.
40K, baby. Yeah, it should, because I don't think I have any premium. In fact, people were very upset with how I handled the card. Several
Yeah.
people thought I ruined it. I had one
Nope.
person say something about my greasy fingers being all over it on Facebook yesterday.
Well,
I was like, well, it's a PSA 10, so you can be upset about it, I guess.
yeah.
But like I say, like for every troll, there's like 500 nice people, so it doesn't really matter. Trolls are hopefully going to be okay because it's tough to live that life. Do you see any dollar cards tonight too? Did you sell, dude? I actually have my dollar cards off of eBay, but we sold a bunch on Whatnot today, and some went for a couple bucks. So yeah, so that's going to be the fun juxtaposition. We just sold that and made well over 30K, and then we're going to be shipping out some $2 lots and bigger. We sold more than $2 cards, but we're going to sell some of them are $2 cards on Whatnot. That's not going to change. That's who we are. It can't change because this, what's best case scenario? You just do nothing, and this would last you 6-7 months, and then you have to start working again. So you can't stop working. So, and I want to work, man. I love what I do.
So someone just posted in the chat. So when you guys do your trash, if you guys don't know, he does another podcast with the two other resellers, Common Woodpecker and ADH Dave, and they talk about their top
Exactly,
sale
John.
of the week. So you need to bring it up this week. Hey, so what's your guys' top sale of the week? There you go.
I will.
Now you can finally one up them.
I will finally. I bet Kevin probably will pull something out. He probably sold an Inaman for 41K.
Yeah,
because he promised to go live with the people for a month or something.
yeah. He sold a lot of Ennemans on the Shop Commons for 41K.
Added all that. It got graded. I gave it to Golden at the National, and it took like about a week to grade. They sent it out expedited, and it basically got done right like 3 or 4 days before the auction started on August 11th or 12th. So, and this auction was like a 3-week long auction. So they do these every month. Golden has the Elite auction, which has their top stuff. Then they have like the 100 once every quarter, I think. That's even bigger stuff. And then they do their weekly auctions. A lot of people can find deals, by the way, if you guys are looking for deals on their weekly auctions, some of their low end stuff. Yeah. I actually bid on a soccer graded card and didn't realize I won it. And it got sent to me because it gets taken right out of your account, like because your card's attached. And I got I didn't think I'd win it for $7, and I did.
So someone asked in the chat about how was it dealing with Golden. Now, can we talk about what the Golden deal was, or?
Yeah, I think we're okay to talk about it. Yeah, it was yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
It was 105%. So they just took it, like I handed him the card and he was like, okay, we're going to put, this is literally how they did it, which hats off to them because this works well with me. He's just like, yeah, we're going to put this in the August Elite. That's what he did. He's like, I'm going to put this in the August Elite auction at 105%. I'm like, okay, sounds good. Thank you. I needed somebody to tell me what to do because I was out of my comfort zone and they probably sensed that.
And Don wasn't there to tell you what to do.
Dawn was there and she was, I felt confident in dealing with them because I know that's what, with these kind of cards, that's what people do. I don't want to have to deal with the shipping and the insurance and I may have a following, but I don't have like, we are bargain boxers. We're going to look for a deal. And a lot of us aren't going to be spending 33,000, even if we think we can flip it. So yeah, they have they have like the people, collectors, high roller people that, it's just they spend the money on the card. So I had to send it, there or elsewhere. And Golden was the first place that popped in my head. And I was at the card show. So it made perfect sense to, bring it over.
So for those out there, if you guys don't know, you can actually negotiate with larger auction houses. They charge the buyer 20% buyer premium on top of the item sold. For example, this card just sold for $33,000. They're charging the buyer $7,000 buyer premium on top of the buyers to pay. So what they would do to get higher end cards like Terry's card, they offered him 105%. So they're actually going to give him 5% of the buyer premium. So you're not getting 33,000. That would be what? $34,650 you're getting now for that
minus
card.
Whatever it costs to grade. Yeah. So I mean, I'm roughly a little bit more probably than what the ending mark was, but minus the premium. I mean, and then I'm probably gonna go to Taco Bell, get a Baja Blast, and just kick it for a little bit. Yeah. But no, this will be interesting to see how. Watch the channel, see if I take a little. The cool thing, like one thing I've done in the last 6 months with cards, is like I will go to a card show and maybe you guys have noticed, maybe you haven't. I'll spend more on cards because I know I can recoup my money on Monday when I do my weekly auction. So that's always my goal when I go to a card show. It's not always obtainable, but I'd like to get a, you know, a 3-row, an 8-row, whatever of cards and recoup whatever I spent that weekend on Monday if possible. And then hopefully I have some cards left over for more auctions or, you know, to sell buy it now or in different ways for my profit. And then you're also making, in my case, hopefully like sometimes 20, 30 different TikToks, which all are not profitable and YouTube. So it's fun. It's interesting when you're passionate about something. And in this day and age, it's a big blessing. If you're passionate about something, there's a way to make a living doing it. You don't really have to necessarily go do what we all thought we were going to do 20 years ago when we were in college or we were younger, me and you, Rod. Like, I mean, I thought I was going to be 20 years ago, I thought I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to go to law school and I was going to do all that. And then things changed like 10 times since then. And I ended up doing reselling full time. So
I will say though, it's if you guys follow your channel for a long time, you know, you can watch a natural progression through the years, you know, dude, because you started out just buying $1, $2 cards. You didn't want to spend more than $5 on a card at card shows in the very beginning.
yeah.
And then eventually you started working your way up to, then you started dabbling. Oh, okay, maybe I'll go up to about $20. I'll go up to the $20 box. And then, you know, later on, you know, where you started doing some whatnots, you started dabbling. You put in a $50, $100 card in there,
Yeah.
but those are very sporadic. You know, but you stuck to your bargain box guide. I mean, that's who you naturally are, which was a
Yeah.
nice change of pace. Because if you look at everything else that was out in the market when you launched your card channel, it was guys that are spending $10,000-$20,000 per show on a card. You know, not spending $10,000 at the card show overall. They're spending $10,000-$20,000 on single cards, and you know, the regular people like me and you. And the regular people, most people in the chat probably couldn't relate to that because that's not relatable. We, you know, you work a 9-to-5 job, you get a couple $100 to spend for those 2 weeks, you know? So that's why
we could talk about content because me and you both love it. There's
yeah,
several types, but I think in the sports card niche, especially with card shows, there's aspirational content and
Yep.
there's a relatable content.
Yeah.
Aspirational, not everybody wants to do $15,000 flips because I don't know how often they actually make money. There's probably a good amount of time they lose, a good amount of time they win. They might be just like us, but they're just doing it on a bigger,
larger scale, yeah.
a larger scale. And then what I wanted was some just slightly more edited, a slightly more like there was. I will watch anybody doing bargain box videos, especially at that time. But there was just a lot of guys who weren't really used to making YouTube videos that were doing it, and a lot of them have improved over the years that I started watching 2 or 3 years ago. And I just wanted to like take what I learned from garage sailing and stuff and implement it with my GoPro. There was a little bit of that going on, but not a ton. It's so interesting going to a card show because every influencer has a cameraman, you know, with their Sony rig and their Rode mic, and I'm in there as like just like a weird, something different with my GoPro. Still haven't noticed a ton of GoPros at card shows, and I've been everywhere. Whereas like we're in the garage sale niche. Every one of our friends does GoPros.
Yeah.
Everybody does GoPros. And if you showed up with a camera rig at a garage sale, it would be insane. Like people would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Dude, people are not going to talk to you like in a way that's real. Cause that's the difference, I think, too, is like with the GoPro, you do get a little bit more real interactions as opposed to when there's a camera in somebody's face. No matter how confident or nonchalant you are, things change a little.
Well, because people put up a guard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people might not be their natural self. They might restrict from saying certain things. I mean, I wear a black shirt when I go yard sailing, and I put the GoPro on my chest, so it blends into my shirt because I want that because I want a natural reaction from people when I go make my picking videos, you know. And it's nice when I go to the car show and you walk around and when I wear that, you're getting a POV perspective, point of view. From what we're looking down the things, we don't have people following us around doing that. And it's nice. It's a nice change of pace. I think that people enjoy your videos because you don't have a camera crew there. It's nice to see you on camera talking. It's nice to change up when you had Tim and Jimmy helping you out and Don's helping you at the card shops on that trip. But most of the time you're going to these card shows by yourself because, your girlfriend does not want to sit at the card show for 3-4 hours while you go through a bargain box.
Yeah.
That's just not her thing. She'll go there to support you. So you walk around with a camera in your chest and all your interactions are with people just with a camera in your chest. It's a different point of view. It's just different. It's nice. Nice change of pace.
I think there's just room. That's what's a cool thing about content and like cards or any niche is like if there's something that you want to be seeing and you're not seeing it on YouTube or on TikTok enough, then go make it. Just go make it. If you're confident enough And the funny thing about confidence is like if you just go full storm, full speed into something, you'll gain confidence over time. You'll screw up a couple things. You won't make perfect videos. Nobody does ever. And then you'll eventually get to the point where you're like, oh, this is my voice. This is who I am. Like I didn't really have a thesis when I started my channel that I was the bargain box guy and the retail box guy. That evolved. And I just embraced it but that's always who I've been. I didn't even realize it, man. I was going through
Yeah.
bargain boxes at the flea market in 2016, looking for LeBron rookies to sell for $20. And I was getting them for $3. I was buying, collector's choice retail boxes in 1995, hoping to get, those cool rookies where they were standing by the ladder in the photo shoot. I've always been the bargain guy or whatever my parents would buy me. On Christmas, I'd get a
Yeah.
hobby box,
Yeah.
so I've never been comfortable spending a ton of money. I bought some hobby boxes in my life, but I've never bought a hobby box going, that was a good idea. I buy hobby boxes going, I hope I enjoy this enough because I know I made a bad decision, if that makes sense. And it's still the case for most hobby boxes.
Yeah.
And if I get to a point where I can get like millions of views and I could make money on those videos consistently, I might open more hobby boxes. But like Pac-Man, when they're spending $10,000 on boxes, they are not making he's not making $10,000 on his video. So he's banking on building, and maybe he's getting to the point where he's making enough off the periphery, or he's getting deals. I don't know.
Or
That it makes
sponsorship or
sense.
something else.
Or maybe it's he's building something, or he write off, whatever. I don't know. But like retail is one thing. I'm pretty confident most of the time I can recoup my money on content. That's why I can open more. If I wasn't consistently making money on the content, I wouldn't be able to justify opening as much as I am.
Now, do you have trouble finding stuff? Because back during COVID times, you could not find cards anywhere. People were lined up. There were fights at the store trying to get boxes. They had them behind the counter. Now, when you watch your videos, you go there and you see the counter. I mean, it's pretty much you find stuff every time you go. So, I mean, how much has that changed for you? Making content now that you can actually find some product here. I know you've been traveling around, so you have a lot more opportunity to do that. But I mean, was that a struggle for you in the very beginning with that?
It's been pretty much back to normal since I started my channel almost. If you guys want to see kind of the struggle, go to my American Arbitrage channel. My first video was how to sell sports cards on my main channel. And it's like at 30,000 views. If you look at 2020 American Arbitrage YouTube videos, there's 7, 8 card ones. One, I bought out and I got a lot of crap for this. I bought out a complete Walmart of all the Mosaic, spent $700-800 on all the Mosaic 1920 or 20. Yeah, it was 1920. Instead of selling them in boxes, which would have been the smart thing, I opened them. And I was going through like, did I make money? And I don't think I did really, but make much, a little bit. I did, but honestly, I just wanted to open them. I was so excited to find them. Because I remember the moment the market changed, like really, really. It's weird. It was a vivid moment. I was a full-time reseller. We still had a location we were working out of, but we were not doing great. So I went back and got a job. Okay, so I worked a couple jobs in 2019-ish. And I was working at a storage unit place for a little bit, for like a month. This was right before I quit and went back to full-time and
Did you quit or get fired?
That one I quit. No, I got fired. You're right. I did get fired from that one. You're right. I did. You're right. That's a long story. I was on a 1.5 month long like probationary period, and they were annoying. We'll just put it that way. I had my own issues with them, as far as like what they were expecting somebody to do at a storage unit. They would have me do a 200 unit facility and expect me to be like in front and also be making sure everything was happening, like cleaning. Like they needed 2 or 3 people, and they were trying to hire one person to do everything. Didn't make sense, if that makes sense. But anyway, and I also am me, so I get it. But but anyway, you're right. I forgot about that. But anyway, I was going to work one day, and I was my card broke down, so I was taking the bus to Salt Lake to do like this was part of my probationary period. I was working at different stores, and before one of the days, I went to the Walmart because I got there at 6 a.m. Believe it or not, it was super early. And I had time to kill, and there was a whole bunch of Prism basketball boxes, 1920. And I'm like, I want 1 or 2, but I'll wait till after work and I'll buy some. I came back after work. They were all sold out. And I'm like, oh man, I can't do that. And I never saw another one of those in retail in my life yet since then. So it changed. Like that was the first moment where it hit me where I'm like, crap, I'm not gonna be able to find retail boxes. And then over time it's changed because most of the reason they were selling out is because people were flipping them on eBay for a
Yeah.
profit. They weren't opening them. If that makes sense. So
Well, people were opening them, but they were buying them in the secondary market to open them
yeah,
that time.
and then like it was pretty insane at that time for the market, and everything went up, and you know I like this more. I mean, that market was fun, because like you'd buy something and then everything just seemed to go up. But this is a real market. This is how
Yeah.
you really learn to cut your teeth and see if you can be a reseller of cards or whatever. The one thing I've learned about reselling, doing it for over a decade, is reselling is recession proof. In my opinion, you just might have to change what you resell within, but there's always going to be an angle with cards. There's always going to be something. Maybe you got to focus on mid end right now. Right now, it's repacking or downtown hunting. I don't know what it is for the higher end, but there's always going to be people who don't want to do all the work and put out all the low end stuff because it's not worth their time, and I get it. And
But
there's always going to be an angle for people like us who want to put in the work to make the money in between.
you make a really good point there because about being recession proof. Because let's think about it this way: if I get a $5,000 card, that 5,000 card may go down to 3,000, may go down to 1,000. It could fluctuate tremendously. A $5 card is not going to. Well, if it loses 20%, it's $4. Not a big deal. You know what I mean? So like you're in a really good position the way you were because dealing with cards $20 and under, like it's not going to break your bank if you buy a card for 15, it goes down to 12 or goes down to 10. You may even people will pay up for that because they just want the card. They don't care. So that's a great thing, man.
You make the money. This is reselling one of one,
Yeah.
whether it's cards or whether it's anything, whether you're flipping comic books, whatever. You make the money in the buy. If you buy an item at the right price, you will always make money. Now, we come from a world where like I have a hard time understanding the people who are so obsessed with comps. I don't understand that world where it's like I'll buy it 85, 80, 90, 95. I still don't think that way. I
Yeah.
still have a hard time. I understand why people think that way, but I'm not playing that game. And maybe that it definitely excludes me from some higher end stuff, but I don't see a heck of a lot of a reason to go buy a down. I mean, obviously you're not even getting downtowns at any percent off. You're paying over sometimes, but I don't understand spending $950 to hopefully make a $20 bill if you're lucky. I don't get that logic. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'd rather go buy 3 bargain boxes and run them through Whatnot and guarantee that I'm going to make a profit and make content about it on top and make money off that. I don't understand the current market for that kind of cards, and there are people successful in that. So me saying I don't understand it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just partially I don't agree with it in a way, but also I don't understand it. I don't get what they're doing sometimes, if that makes sense.
Well, I think a lot of them are buying them to be repacked. So people buy cards at card shows for 85%, 90%. They're selling repacks out there. They're making, they're making that 10%, 15%, but they're doing it, they're buying 500, 600, 700 cards when they're doing that, because they're going to resell those over. But you brought up a good point, and something I want to touch base on here is, since me and you are pickers, and we've talked about this in private, we always feel like we have an advantage in the card world because people don't think like pickers. So you want to elaborate a little bit on
Card
that?
people do not think overall don't think like pickers. You're right.
Yeah, because pickers have a different mindset because we don't care what it is, what the item is. We know we can be able to make money. You always have to pivot, and you always say you always have to adapt to that process. But why don't you talk a little bit more about that?
As a picker, like I always think about this, and I've mentioned it at times in my videos. You kind of take what boxes when you're bargain boxing. You take what that box is willing to give you that day, right? Of course, personally, I would love to find nothing but like PMGs and like cool 90s inserts that are hyper valuable for $1 that are worth 400. Obviously, we all do. But some days, the only value proposition in a box is hockey. And I'm not super confident at hockey, but I know at $1, this is numbered. It's a person I've heard of. It's autographed. It's modern. Like I know enough things that I'm like, okay, there's no way in my Whatnot that's probably I'll get my money back, but there's a potential that I can get $7, $8, $9, or maybe that's a $10, $15 eBay card. You just take what the boxes give you on that particular day. As a thrifter and a reseller and a garage seller, we go out and we don't necessarily know exactly what we're getting. We know garage sales advertise, and there's certain stuff we might be looking for at a particular garage sale, but we kind of just have to go with the flow. We might find a piece of a boat, like steering wheel, and find out that's a $7,000, boat steering wheel, and they only want $200 because they never finished their boat, and we're gonna go make sell it for $1,500 to somebody, because it's not new or whatever. So like we just take what's given and we move on.
And I mean, and that's a great point because when people go to card shows, I mean, they have a game plan aside. We're going to buy downtowns, we're going to buy, kabooms, we're going to buy this because we're going to try to flip these and make money. But that's right, man. We don't have a game plan when we go out. We like a lot of YouTubers when they make videos, they sit down, they write a script, they figure out what they're going to do. When you're a picker, you don't have that luxury to do that because you have no idea what's going to be thrown your way. We go to yard sales, we go to these picks, and we have to learn on the fly. And I'll give you an example. Like when I talked about going to Antique Mall, I literally, when I was picking on my way to go see you in Kentucky, I bought a box of Magic the Gathering. Okay, I got this for $140. This sells for $200 to $250. I don't buy Magic, I don't collect Magic, but that was just what was there. I had an opportunity to do that. And as a picker, I knew that, hey, this may have some money, it has some value here. So it was an item I picked up a month. You have to expand your knowledge. But as a picker, and when you go to card shows, you're willing to flip packs, you'll flip bargain box cards, you'll do grab. I mean, whatever you can possibly do to be able to make money.
And
Where these other people are just
we were at the garage sale, remember? And I stayed at that box for 2 hours at that guy's booth, and I was picking up dollar grab bags of Terrell Owens cards, and I've been selling them through Whatnot. Some do a couple bucks, some do 15, 20 bucks, And I know that at the price I was getting them, and also when you get those bags, those are typically catering to collectors, not necessarily to flippers. Because how long can you flip at 85% over and over and over and over again how often can you sustain a business where you're just selling to another reseller over and over and over and over and over and over and back and forth, right?
Yeah,
there's got to be some point that you break through and sell occasionally to some actual collectors, right? I would think. So, I mean, I think with what we do with the picking side, we definitely deal with a lot of people who flip, but there's also a lot of people who collect. And that's always the hardest part about any reselling business. I had a live auction for years and years, and the hardest part was to try to get in collectors, like people who are actually the end buyer. Typically in an auction, you're going to get flippers, or at a garage sale, you're going to get flippers. That's why you can't get top-notch prices at garage sales, because the likelihood that you're going to get in somebody who, is a boat enthusiast who knows how valuable that steering wheel is, right? And wants it for their boat that they're working on and will pay you retail. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you have to sell to, it's hard. You got to build that and try to figure out how to get those people or in your orbit so you can sell to them.
But they become repeat customers to you. And then, you give them good deals. They keep coming back. And, it's just it's part of the business. It's what you do.
Yeah. 100%, man. We got a lot of people talking. I'm sorry if I'm missing it. Yeah. Repeat customers are huge too. And I always talk about this, like on my Whatnot. I am the bargain box guy. So I shouldn't ever expect not to be giving bargains out to people in my Whatnot auction. Occasionally I'm going to get, obviously, and make money, because my whole goal is to buy at such a level that I can always make money even when I'm giving out bargains. That doesn't always work, obviously, because it's impossible. But I would expect people to come out and get some bargains that they can flip for me. And also, occasionally I'm going to, sell a card that was two people wanted it for themselves, for their collection, or they believe in that player so much they're going to pay up for it. And then I'm making my profit on that end. So, and you get that by building a reputation, by gaining customers. And there's so many levels to what we do. We go out garage selling or go out to flea markets or go out to card shows. And we're not just making money on the cards. In my case, I'm making money on my shorts. I'm making money on my TikTok, my Instagram, my Facebook, my YouTube for long form and short form, all four of those. And they're paying better than most people realize. So
And that's just not in your cards. It's also in your picking. That's also
fun. I love it. I enjoy content and I enjoy cards and reselling.
And you help a lot of people, though. What a lot of people don't realize is you do
Thank
help
you guys
a lot of
saying people. Congratulations. Did you go out, dude? Are you muted?
Can you hear me? Am I out? Yes, no?
That's weird. Can you guys hear? Can you hear us okay? Final was at 33,000, and then the extra 7,000 to make it over 40,000 is the buyer premium. Can you guys hear us okay? I know Rod might have went out, or I don't know if I went out. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
What happened with Rod? I have you maybe go in and out, or I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh, you can hear Rod? I can't hear Rod. I wonder if that was what was happening earlier to us, man.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know.
We probably should end it anyway, man.
Okay.
We're pretty good guys. I appreciate you guys all being here, hanging out, spending this. This is a different kind of live than what I'm used to. I'm usually just talking bargain boxes and retail boxes and stuff like that. I appreciate you guys being out here and spending the time with us. Thank you for the super chats. Very kind of you guys. We appreciate y'all, and check out me and Rod are thinking about in the future doing with Tim if he's willing to do a podcast. So stay tuned for that. We appreciate you guys, and we will talk to you all next time. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.